Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josie. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josie. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josie, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a guest that will be sharing their badassery. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is the importance of using lien waivers when working with contractors. When working with contractors, ensuring all parties are paid appropriately and on time is crucial to avoid legal complications. One effective way to protect your investment and prevent potential liens on your property is by using lien waivers. Here are 4 reasons why you must use lien waivers to protect your assets. Number 1, protection. Lien waivers serve as a receipt of payment from contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers confirming they have been paid for their services. This prevents them from placing a mechanic's lien on your property, which can complicate future sales or refinancing. Number 2, clear ownership. Lien waivers ensure clear property titles. Properties with liens attached can be difficult to sell or refinance as lenders and buyers require clear titles. Lien waivers help avoid these issues by providing proof that all payments have been made and accepted. Number 3, legal assurance. By obtaining signed lien waivers, you create a legal document that confirms the completion of payments, reducing the risk of disputes or claims for additional payments. This legal assurance can protect you in case of any disagreements regarding payment. Number 4, project management. Requiring lien waivers as part of your payment process encourages transparency and accountability among contractors and subcontractors. This ensures that everyone involved in the project is aware of the payment schedule and acknowledges receipt of payments. So, by incorporating lien waivers into your payment process, you can protect your real estate investments, ensure smooth project completion, and maintain clear and marketable property titles. Now, go out there and get some lien waivers signed before you pay your badass contractors. Now, on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. We have with us Tanya Oliver. Tanya is a badass business coach and teaches high-achieving entrepreneurs how to become mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually healthy and strong AF so they can look, feel, and show up in their business, life, and relationships as their most elite self. It is my pleasure to have her badassery back on the show, so welcome, Tanya.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Yay, so good to see you. First time we met, we were both redheads, and things have changed.
Things have changed. 3 years ago, 3 years back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw pictures. It was so funny.
Oh my goodness, that was a fun trip. We met in, was it Cancun or Jamaica?
Cancun.
Mm-hmm. And you just rocked the stage there. You were one of the speakers at the event, and which is why I begged to get you on the show. But you are such this amazing business coach, and I know so many people who have benefited from you, including my husband. You were his business coach. But you weren't always in that mindset, shall we say. So, which I think is what makes you so good at what you do. And it was real easy for me to judge you when I first saw you because you're gorgeous. You had this fiery red hair. You are about, my pinky finger size waist. And I was just like, whatever. And I got to know you. And then when I heard your history, I went, okay, I like Tanya a lot, actually. So give the listeners a little bit of your history. I just like that you were 60 pounds overweight, which makes me feel better about myself. That's my favorite part of this portion. But tell us about your history and why it makes you such a great business coach.
Thank you so much. Well, I want to address that. It's funny because a lot of people think I'm a business coach, but because I focus on human performance for the elite entrepreneur, the businesses do scale. So when you scale as a human being, your business, your relationships and everything that you're doing in life is just an extension of you. So I just really get people, the human being, who end up doing entrepreneurship to operate at higher levels so that they can be better at everything else that they do. So it's funny, everybody's like, you're a business coach, they're business skilled. I'm like, no, I don't teach business. I teach you how to operate at higher levels as a human being, so your productivity and performance scale. So a little bit of my backstory, I have a lot of stories. I think those stories led to pivotal times, but one of the one things that always really, well, number one, I needed what I teach. I still to this day need what I teach. So I love that way back when I had my first mentor, he always said, get into a career that's going to allow you to constantly grow. And that's actually going to be healthy for you because you're going to be in it for your whole life until you decide to change your mind. So I've always been fascinated with how I can look, feel, and be my best self. But a lot of that stemmed too with my upbringing. I grew up and I was privileged. A lot of people are always talking about their that they weren't, they work hard. I was privileged. We had Hummers in the driveway. We had Cadillacs. I played travel ice hockey. My brothers played travel ice hockey. So that was something that I was always really grateful for. And I knew it. My dad, unfortunately, because he worked so hard, which is a lot of people, a lot of us entrepreneurs, we work really hard for our families or children or, just because we want to provide a better life. He ended up falling off a roof. He had to have major back surgery, and that surgery led him down to getting hooked on, the painkillers and stuff like that. So eventually we lost everything. And so I just saw that my mom also did everything to make sure that we were really active and we pursued our academics and had a lot of activities just to keep us busy, set goals for us, that she always put herself last. And so I think seeing that growing up, prevention has always been really important to me, as well as, being active, because that was a staple that my parents had set, strong work ethic and self-care for us, even though they didn't do it. And just kind of eventually I just noticed that when people aren't taking care of themselves, it kind of leads to some form of self-destruction. So my first career was in personal training. Getting to what you were saying, yes, I was 60 pounds overweight. I had food addiction, alcohol addiction, and addiction did run in my bloodline. I had a lot of family members that had built these empires and lost everything because they didn't know how to process their pain, physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain. And so my great grandfather, from what I know, ran a really successful entrepreneur business. And then after the World War had lost everything with gambling and alcohol. Wow. So there's patterns that happen until you disrupt the patterns. And so for me, I was just like, okay, well, I have to heal my relationship with this and learn how to process my pain and my emotions and my negative thoughts and my self-destructive, self-sabotaging ways into something more constructive, because I'm not going to live life like this. Even if I look like this for the rest of my life, the way that I'm processing things needs to shift. So that's kind of became the journey. And then started my first career in personal training. And, was pursuing what I loved as I was healing. And then I realized it's not a physical thing. It doesn't matter how much you train or how, whatever, if you don't handle the root cause of it. So then I started getting into shadow work, and I had a mentor and a coach for shadow work. And then I had a coach for yoga. And I just went down this rabbit hole of all these different holistic modalities that most people are like, they judge and they shame and they taboo, but they work.
Yes, they
work.
do.
So that's kind of like, kind of led up to other things. And then me like, taking the next clear step here and there. And then just here I am, on the other side.
So quick question. And we were chatting before we hit record here, and you said you got Theta Healing certified. So what is that? And tell me about it.
Yeah. So a few years ago when I spoke on stage, you had heard this story. We become a vibrational match on the subconscious level of what we attract into our life, people, places, and things. After 3 years ago, when my boyfriend had died in a car accident, and I was an active participant in a very unhealthy relationship because of my self-worth, because you can only fake things on the outside, but internally, your belief systems and what you feel about yourself, what you think about yourself, you become a vibrational match to people, places, and things. And so after that incident of going through my healing, my grieving process, as I still have to perform and execute, because that's how high achievers are, we still have to get the job done. We still got to, be able to compartmentalize our personal life from our business life if we want to be successful and still grow in our careers. So I did a lot of work with Dr. Joe Dispenza during that time. And then I knew that there was something missing. Yeah, I did the whole thing.
I love Dr. Joe.
He's amazing. I was just listening to him this morning. I still listen to his stuff sometimes while I sleep, or I'll do meditations.
I like his walking number 5 meditation.
Is that the heart one?
No, it's about stepping into your new life, and it's got great music to it too. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza.
One through the walking meditations, because there's a group that meets here in Miami, and they have the different ones that you hit. So the number 5, I'm thinking, was either the throat chakra one or the heart one. I was I don't remember which one, because sometimes he focuses on the different energy systems. But I love him because he's science-based. So a lot of people that get weirded out with spirituality or God, or they have an unhealthy relationship based on upbringing, because I grew up Catholic. So I had to heal a lot in my relationship, even with having an intimate relationship with God, because Catholic, I was just religion, guilt, shame, judgment, I'm going to hell. So I was I don't know about this thing. I want to believe, but I can't feel it. And so for a long time, I went along just kind of rebelling and going against that intuition, that voice, not let me down. A lot of things I had to clean up. I call it past mess cleanup. So you can have a forward movement mindset as you're cleaning up the past. And then I did, I was studying his stuff and really immersed in it, did the walking meditations, and they have one here in Marco Island. I did the one in Marco Island 3 years ago. And I was something's missing. There's something, you never know when you're on this journey of the pursuit of something, and you're okay, I got the steps, but there's something else here. So intuitively, I was guided, and I was just kind of praying about it. I was meditating a lot about it. And then I came across this angel, and she's one of my soul sisters today. And she's oh, have you heard of Theta Healing? And I was no, because I was thinking heart math, because Dispenza talks a lot about heart math. And I'm okay, I see the power of the heart and stuff. And I'm no, tell me about it. And so Theta Healing is just putting you in a theta brainwave, which he talks a lot about, the 5 brainwaves that we have, which is almost that self-hypnotic energy state. For those of you that don't know what that is, when you meditate, clearly you're supposed to kind of get into that space where you can tap into the subconscious. So the reason why therapists can't have those type of breakthroughs is because they're not putting you in a theta brain state, which isn't really that hard. It's just a guided meditation. And then there's a digging process to help somebody navigate through the subconscious, because the subconscious you could do all the work you want on a core level, which is the frontal part of the brain. But then you have the pineal gland, which Dispenza works a lot on. And then you also have the history, and you have the soul level. And then, so if you come here and one of my core beliefs I'll just share, because I'm an open book at this point, was that life is a disappointment. So it made sense if I look back at my entire life of the people, places, and things at the end game was always a disappointment. Everything I did was never enough. I was never enough. My programs were never enough, like internally of what I felt, regardless of the testimonials I was receiving. You're like, oh my gosh, do you believe how much stuff you've done or what you overcame? I'm like, yeah, like whatever, like discrediting it. And it makes sense because my bottom belief, you get to the bottom belief, my bottom belief was that life is a disappointment. So then you go through the belief system, you clear it or replace it, and you just practically just put somebody through a guided meditation and you work on their subconscious belief system and you replace it with feeling work and, God's understanding, definition, perspective of what it might feel like to know that life can be joyful. So
I think that's so important because I hear, and I coach real estate investor students, and I hear all the time, even outside of the coaching circle, of people who will go through things and do whole education programs or do a weekend retreat of some sort, and because they're missing something, exactly what you said. And they'll go through it and they are still not feeling fulfilled. So they go on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So how does using theta healing actually help with that? So it's the brainwave, it's putting someone in that like kind of trance meditation and
the theta brainwave. And what it is theta healing is really a meditation process that you tap into because the physical is the subconscious. It's a spiritual healing focused on prayer through God. So the only pre-requirement to do it is that somebody has to believe in God or be open to God. If somebody has zero belief in God, or they go into it already thinking that it's not going to work, then it's really not for them. That's really the only way it won't work. And the point of it is you get clarity on the core, the bottom belief. Because if you think about it, if you have all these belief systems, and we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Mm-hmm. So the subconscious runs 88% of the way that we operate in our business and our life. Like, so if you're attracting, shitty clients, so I don't know if I'm supposed to curse on here, but if you're attracting all right, it's a badass.
Do you not know me?
I know. So you have, so you're attracting the same. Life happens in patterns. It's like a video game until you start to see the patterns. So when you see your beliefs that are blocking your blessings, and there's really 4 things that will ever block your blessings: is resentment, fear, doubt, and disbelief. That's really what will block you. If everybody's talking about the law of attraction and energy and where vibrational matches, then it doesn't matter how positive or how many affirmations you say. If you don't believe it, or if you doubt it, or if you are angry about it, or if you're fearing it, you're energetically going to block bringing whatever it is that you need into your life. So you're going to keep repeating the same cycles. So this gets almost like you're creating a building. You get to the bottom belief, you pull the bottom belief, all the other beliefs collapse. What's that game called?
Jenga. Yes.
It's like your belief systems are like a Jenga game. So you pull that bottom belief, and then, there goes all that other stuff, and you can finally find liberation and freedom within your life.
I love that. I'm going to have to check that out. So you keep talking about energy, and I have kind of a basic understanding about energy, but there are times where I feel my energy just collapses like that Jenga puzzle. But I can start an interview and people are like, oh, I just love your energy. I'm like, yes, me too. And I'm really into it. And then some bullshit will trigger me and I'll go immediately flip flop. So how does one stay in that high energy and just, because I definitely feel from your energy and was super excited to get this going, but yet I have been in rooms where I'm like, and then my energy just completely drops. So what's a good way to keep that energy up?
So the secret is, I call it the work behind the work.
Okay.
Get into this space that I'm in right now because I just did a webinar on goal setting the other day, and my team and I have been doing a lot of back end funnels, a lot of times with the electronics. It is electric, right? Like, it's electric. electronic. And the thing about technology is amazing, but if you don't have grounding modalities and spend time with nature, or you're not like working out and you're not connecting to your physical reality, it is radioactive decay. So it will drain you. So if I spend too much time in the electronics, and like I feel my energy being drained if I'm not balancing it with going outside for just 20 minutes and going for a walk and just breathing some fresh air, or meditating, or just getting out of the house and getting with nature. I'm fortunate where I do get to live near the ocean. So my non-negotiable is to go like ground my feet in the sand or put my feet in the water. And that's electromagnetic energy that charges you. And so some people, I have clients where they go to Sedona, or they go, like just getting out or putting your feet on the grass. And some people are like, oh, whatever, that's like weird. Well, if you say, okay, well, I have energy, I don't have energy, the things that charge your energy, if you're a battery, and the things that deplete your energy. It's just that we have to pay attention. And then, in order to prevent it, I have like my weekly protocol. I call it like, I run something called a 90-day focus sprint. And within the week, I need to make sure like I salsa dance for soul food, because that charges my soul. And even though I lose a little bit of sleep, it fuels my soul. So what are you doing to fuel your soul? What is your soul food? If you go back from childhood, what were the things where you could play? What's your playtime? What's your recess? Are you making that a non-negotiable staple? Because that's going to charge you up so that you can go ahead and like move forward with like high energy and high frequency, and remove any creative blocks that you have. Another thing is, having some discipline and really respecting your sleep time. Are you getting enough quality, uninterrupted sleep? And of course, entrepreneurs, we got a lot on our mind. We're more in our head than in our heart. So it's really trying to figure out how you can like learn how to get your mind and your heart on the same team, and, exercising daily. So I call it the DMOs, your daily methods of operation, become your work behind the work. So that's sleep, making sure you're eating good food, staying hydrated. I always have a water bottle near me. I put greens or aminos in it, or glutamine. Yes. Oh, we were twinsies too with the water bottle. So your DMOs is just your food, your exercise. What are you doing for exercise that you love, that you enjoy? I don't do things that I don't like or that my body hates. I've been asking to run a lot lately. I said, I'm not running unless I see a snake. Like, it's not happening. There's so many other ways to move my body that I enjoy. I'm not doing things that are going to trigger me to like end up hating something that is like for the long game, and then strength training. I think it's important that we're strong, physically, so that we can mentally and emotionally have stability and endurance for our dreams and our visions.
All of that super, super important. And is it okay because if I'm speaking on stage, or if I have a coaching call and I have a lot of energy, then as soon as it's over, I'm like silent. I need that recuperation period. Is that a normal process to go through? Or because I love to give 110% and really have either students that I'm coaching or the audience, if I'm speaking on a stage, just to really have all of me and give them that. But I do find afterwards I have to, like, I don't even talk to anyone because I need that time to recuperate. Is that normal, or am I just a weirdo?
No, I'm the same way. I think that's,
Okay.
Part of self-mastery is also knowing yourself and being honest and figuring out your system. So everybody talks about business KPIs or business, your DMOs, but what about human performance DMOs? What about your human performance KPIs? Like, how are you tracking? And it's just, self-awareness is super powerful, but before self-awareness comes self-honesty. Like, that's just how I am. I remember, I was thinking about this the other day because I was looking back at some of the tab stuff. And I remember one of the nights that I had dinner with Tim Story, and he was like, I was getting ready to speak the next day. And that was actually my first speaking event, by the way.
Really?
Like, that was the first time I spoke on stage. Yeah.
You killed it. Mm-hmm. You did great.
It's because I salsa danced before, right on stage when we went. So I was like charged. But what he was like, he kind of explained it. He's like, some people, they need to like go inward, before they go like outward, or when you go outward, like you need to go inward. And I think that's such a sacred time that you respect it. For me, that's my time with God. And so one thing that I've learned the last several years, more intentionally this year, because my, we say like the word of the year. I don't know. That's kind of what I do. My word is freedom. And so in order to have freedom, I know that I want to take God everywhere I go. I want to not do it alone, because when I've done it alone, it led to really bad things for me personally. Because I was like, I've got that rebel like part of me. I'm just like, leave me alone. I'm going to do it my way. Every time, same outcome. Okay. So that was that. I feel like that time is that time that you get to have clarity, that you get to charge, you get to tap into your intuition, you get to tap into the version of yourself that's kind of like has that wisdom, that knowledge, that, So I think that's just a big part of your self-awareness.
Because, as soon as I get off stage or whatever, there was one time where, someone still learning in the audience, wrote me wrong there, but she came up and was just like, wanted to talk more and more and more. And she's like, well, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, what do you mean what's wrong with me? I'm like supposed to be on for these people all the time. So I kind of felt like she was robbing me of my energy there. But anyway.
Well, here's what I say. People are energy vampires.
Yes.
So this is where discernment comes in placement. And also like having boundaries. Absolutely. I would love to speak with you. We can schedule a consultation if you're interested, and that's having boundaries in personal space.
Yep.
I think having boundaries and teaching people personal space is a skill set.
Some people look at boundaries as being either holding grudges. In fact, yes, I had someone recently tell me, oh, you're just holding a grudge. I'm like, no, I'm providing boundaries. So thank you.
When people do that and they attack you like that, they're just trying to project their insecurities, and that's actually a form of manipulation.
Yes.
So people get what they want in two ways. They get what they want through manipulation, which is like, I really don't care your wants, needs, and what you desire. I just know that I want to get my way right now. And so therefore, if I need to attack you, if I need to project my insecurities onto you, then that way I can get you to do what I want. Influence is another way. And it's like, hey, you know what? I respect you. I value you. I get it's not time appropriate. I know you just gave your all. I just wanted to let you know that when you have time, or maybe we could schedule something later on, I would love to connect with you for like 30 minutes or 15 minutes. Would that work?
Perfect. Thank you. See, that is an excellent tool for my tool belt. Because I'm a pleaser, at heart, and I want to make sure that everyone has a great time, gets, loads of content from me, and, just whatever.
Sure.
So
you always do. I remember you always like wanting, like just always being the life of the party, but the thing is, you got to be the life of your own party, sister.
Amen.
Because you're the one that has to go to bed with you and look yourself in the mirror every day. And so one thing that I definitely learned the last 3 years is that like, I got to live life on my terms, because I gotta look back at my life, and I don't know how long I'm going to be here. And I need to make sure that I lived it intentionally. And I'm really proud of the woman that I am. And I learned this, we learn things through experience, but I learned this a few years back, where I think it's an important conversation to have, because everybody's talking about betrayal, right? Talk a lot about, especially in your industry, all industries, like betrayal this, loyalty this, there's no loyalty here. You have to find loyalty within yourself, because here's the thing. If you don't set boundaries, somebody is always going to feel betrayed, and then never betray yourself. That's probably going to be one of the biggest regrets anybody could ever have, is the moments that they betray themselves to please somebody else, because this way the other person felt like there was loyalty with them. But guess what? Guess who got betrayed? You did. You betrayed yourself.
This is why I love you so much. Oh my goodness. So by the way, my word of the year is start. And it's for mainly because it got to a point we spent 2 years renovating a house. We're living in it now. We're downtown Raleigh. I don't know if you know this. My next door neighbor is Stephanie Anson and Chris Papadopoulos. They live next door.
I think I remember when you guys were like transitioning over there. I think I remember that.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So But for me, it's start. Like so many people we were talking about before about how you go to this education program, you do this retreat, and you're just not getting fulfilled. So for me, it's just start, just go for it and keep doing it. I have not achieved the ultimate where I'm supposed to be because I always liked that constant growing where you went and you got certified with, the theta healing and you're constantly, you hire your own coaches, you're moving forward, etc. So for me, it's just keep starting. It's okay to start over and keep just moving forward. So thank you for that. I want to get into...
I want to say this real fast though, because people see what you show them, but there was a time where I did a lot of pruning. And I want to say this because it's really important, especially I'm sure for the people listening, how one of my coaches made it make sense more in the theta healing. Once I did theta healing, she says it's supposed to be an upward and an integration cemented in an upward and integration. So you do have to have seasons of auditing and pruning and integrating. And I've had many of those because I didn't learn anything new for probably almost 2 years because I took what I had and I integrated and I pruned things. And then once I integrated it and I had it in as a staple, then intuitively I said, okay, now, because that's where that whole thing of not enough and like, is a disappointment? I was like, I am enough. I have enough. How do I maximize my resources right now? And that's important to have.
Pruning. I like that. So I want to get into kind of the core of what you focus on. And you have an inner circle. You have one starting in September, but you have so many different things. And like you just wrapped up a 5-day accountability challenge, which I love that because we always need a good kick in the ass on occasion. And I feel like accountability is the way to do that. But you focus on the 4 pillars of human performance. So can you kind of dive a little bit into that and what you do in your inner circle? And I know there's like lots of levels leading up to the inner circle, but just as what, Tanya Oliver is as a whole, this is your 4 pillars of human performance.
Yeah. So I had the epiphany of what it is that I did because everybody's like, what do you do? I know that when you're a leader and I attract leaders, I interact with leaders, I know I'm a leader, but sometimes we're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I know what I'm doing, but you know what you're doing. It's just because you're the one creating the path. So that's why that like the meditation, the self-care is so important. But I understood it all made sense recently was like what I teach is self-mastery, emotional intelligence, and how to operate at peak performance. In order to do that as a human being, we have to master the 4 pillars, not pillows, pillars of how we operate. Self-mastery is about the mental, physical, emotional, the spiritual. So when I was lacking the spiritual, I still felt unfulfilled. When I was emotionally unstable, struggling with severe suicide thoughts, anxiety, depression, I had to like make sure that my workouts were on point. So I was taking care of my body and I was, getting sleep. And so then this way that allowed me to be more mentally and emotionally stable so that I could learn healthy tools to help me process my negative stuff and to, pull things out and to like release the stuff. And so being able to have tools in your toolbox to know like how to handle life when it gets chaotic is really important. And just that's a big part of like the whole self-mastery and operating at higher levels. And I don't know if you can relate to this. I'm sure that you can, but I don't want to assume anything. Is majority of my life, I was always taught that I had potential and it pissed me off. I'm like, so that's just telling me that I'm not living to my full potential. And what I realized literally like just about a year ago was you are your full potential when you learn how to master the 4 pillars of how you're operating as a human being, because life comes in different seasons. It comes in different levels. And so how can you maximize the season you're in with where you're at and then like be blessed up to the next season. So that's really what the 4 pillars is like. How do I master myself so that if I can master myself in this season at this level, then I know that I'm going to get to the next level and I'm going to be able to maximize that level and sustain it. Because that's the thing is like there's life for a long part of my life, it was a big yo-yo. My weight was a yo-yo. My finances were a yo-yo. My relationships were a yo-yo. And I just wanted sustainability. And so when I learned how to operate better and I learned how to master like myself, and I knew that when I was at a low, how to get back up, or when I'm, off or feeling like I'm at the peak of about to burn myself out, because high achievers can do that. I know to pull back because I don't want to deal with the consequences because I already know how that's going to go.
Huge. And also reason number 528 why my word is start. Because when like right now I'm dealing with the whole physical pillar and I'm perimenopausal. Screw you, Perry. Perry sucks. And it's really messing with my physical and I'm, back pains and things like that. And when that's off, everything else starts going off. And so I think it's huge to have a balance with those 4 pillars and you finding more of the spiritual and being part of that and how it drives you and not putting you in situations. And that's huge. And I love everything that you do and how you explain it. And you connect so well. Your energy is just coming through on this as well. So how does one find your inner circle and what other things do you have going on? Because you always have, you have, like I said, that 5-day accountability. You do that periodically throughout the year. You also have a planner that you have, this PDF stuff. So what's the best way for people to find you and start stalking you like I did? That's the best way to put it.
Well, I was honored. I like to say passionate. We're passionate about each other because, I'm like following up with what you're doing too. I like to keep this stuff fun. I think a lot of people think like they're scared of going backwards to dig up and deal with stuff because they don't want to create trauma on top of trauma. So my job is to make this like fun and know like it's like a sport. And so what my team and I decided is we're going to do a draft season like athletes, September, and also in March, we're going to have draft seasons and we're going to run the inner circle for 6 months because it takes about 30 days to find a flow state and about 90 to or 3 to 6 months to instill a new foundation. So if you've been operating at like a certain amount of time, it's good. I mean, to be able to make massive changes in 6 months or a year is pretty significant. So we have those recruitment times. And in the meantime, my gift to the audience is a free 90-day focus sprint. It's an accountability calendar. Most people, they're very driven. They are great at setting goals, but like anything, as you climb or as you're going through things, or if you have to put out fires and deal with life, it can take you off your A game. And so this is just to have like daily audits, to know how to hold yourself accountable and to be self-sufficient, just a way to track your progress so that you start to put that spark back in your spirit again and have the discipline without breaking your spirit. And so I have this goal contract. It's a commitment contract that people get to look at every day and you sign it and it's in front of you so that they can get at TanyaCOliver.com/calendar. And then when they're in the email, just kind of let them know, like sometimes I do pop-up webinars, which I just did, one on goals or one on procrastination, and, run little like a 5-day challenge, but the actual drafting of the inner circle is September and March. So those are the 2 times we're going to draft, and we're only taking 20 people. We're going to treat it like a pro team and winning the championship of life.
I love all that marketing. Excellent job. You do have a good team with you. So we are going to move to the second part of the podcast, which is what makes Tanya C Oliver a badass. And what is the C for, by the way? Catherine. Tanya C Oliver, what makes you a badass? And I use the acronym BADASS, and the first letter is B for book. So what's a book that's made a huge difference in your life? And I know what book you're going to say, and I still haven't read it. It's sitting on my bookshelf. Go ahead.
I love in the questionnaire you said without the Bible, because I almost said that, but I still am confused with the Bible, so I probably would say that.
So, okay, let me clarify to the listeners here. So when I send out the questionnaire, it says, what's a book that's made a huge difference in your life? And I put besides the Bible, because I kid you not, my first 20 guests all said the Bible. I'm like, I'm trying to get real estate books here or business books or something. And so it just got to a point. So
the Bible is super overwhelming. Like I literally
yes.
told this year I committed to it, and I told my friend, and she's like been mentoring me in it, and I was like, I need a kid's version. Like this is like, and I'm not a dum dum. I'm pretty smart. You know, I study like epigenetics and all these science terms. That's why I wasn't kidding. You asked me, do you speak Spanish? I said, I'm still learning English. Like I really, like these words and terms. I don't know. So anyway, the hidden messages in water. The Hidden Messages in Water, it's a very simple read. I feel that when you become super successful, because I do work with very externally successful entrepreneurs that have done very well for themselves in business. But when they have to deal with this work, it becomes intimidating. I know when my phone is off and I'm great at what I do and I go in the Apple store, I'll like, please talk to me like a child right now. So like when you switch careers to learn something new, I like things to be very simple and straight to the point. So I feel like the Hidden Messages in Water, they've got pictures in there, and you get to like water molecules. The kids can read it. You could do experiments with family. But the whole book is really about the power of your belief system and the way that you treat yourself, the way that you speak to yourself, and how it really does have an impact on you on a cellular level, like what it does to your body. And your body is your subconscious. And so for them to be able to take a very complex subject and make it very simple and to be able to capture it in water molecules of what it does through the music that we listen to, the books that we read, the conversations that we have, the way that we allow people to talk to us, the way that we talk to people, of what it does to us as a human being. So I really think that book is a powerful book that can, I mean, we all have a body, we all live a life, so it can relate to anybody. It doesn't matter what industry you're in.
And relating back to Dr. Joe Dispenza too, because you said he's very scientific. And I feel like this book was very scientific, especially for my husband, who you were his coach. He's like, oh, what's this woo-woo shit, you know? So for you to put the science behind it and how it affects us and everything that we put into our body, whether it be through our brain, physically, ingesting it, etc. So by putting the science behind it, and I know exactly where it is on my bookshelf. So I swear I'm going to go dust it off as soon as this is over, because I'm like, oh, I saw it in there, and I went.
I mean, they do have it. They do have the audio book version. I know a lot of people. I'm an audiobook like for sure girl. If the book is really great, if the audiobook is great, I will buy the book. I know Alex Ramosi talks a lot about like, in order to even sharpen your focus skills, if you buy the book and the audio, it allows you to be more focused, because a lot of entrepreneurs are so great at what they do because they can be multifaceted and multi-passionate and multitasked. But at the same time, it also, with the practice of that, it starts to weaken your focus muscle, because focus is a muscle.
Interesting. No, I only have the book version, so I will have to check out the audio as well.
Just look at
the pictures. I remember them being like little snowflakes. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them, when you speak nicely, they turn into snowflakes.
Oh.
When you speak mean, they turn into gremlins.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to read the book. All right. The first A in Badass is for advice. You've given us some great advice, but what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best advice I ever received, I wrote something different in there, but I'm going to say this because it was something that really helped me get through hardship in many areas of my life where I didn't want to be here anymore. And so if it could work for an extreme, it could work for, something small. It's just feel good today. Just win the day. Just win the day. And that's been my motto for the last 2 years. I had to pivot a lot in the business. When I was going through my addictions, that was my the thing that I held on to. And I don't know if I heard it somewhere or if I just kept telling myself, just win today, just win today. And whatever your win is, maybe that's just getting out of bed. Maybe that's going for a walk. Maybe that's showing up for work. Whatever it is just win the day.
So good. Ugh. I need you on here at least once a quarter now. Goodness gracious, I've missed you. All right. The D in Badass is for drive. What drives Tanya to be successful?
I always come back to this, but the testimonials, like knowing like when I show up for a webinar, because it's a lot of work. I mean, you run podcasts, people just see like the finished product, but there's a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy and time, and then correcting things. If it runs smoothly, that is a blessing.
Yes.
Most of the time it doesn't, but I truly believe that when you hear somebody and how it serves them, or if somebody says thank yous fuel me. Thank yous completely fuel me. They always have. There's been a lot of points in my career because I didn't have a mentor who had built what I had built for the business. I've had mentors in different areas, but I'm like, this is not like the end all be all. There's many pieces that are missing. People, when you're talking about spirituality, they completely neglect the other areas of practicality. Like, we live in a practical world. We have how do I do this? So, testimonials, when people say thank you and they say that they appreciate you, when you see that you bring families closer together or help somebody get out of a really like dark space. Those are the things that have kept me going, even through my hardship. And I feel that if somebody's listening, if you're really in a dark space or feel like you're going through a downward spiral, go help somebody else. Go help somebody else, volunteer your time, because it takes the emphasis off of you, which is a very self-absorbed area that can put you more down a spiral. So if you go and you serve, or if you do a podcast and you just like contribute back to society, that's why contributing back is such a huge area of fulfillment for a lot of people. And that's important.
Super important. And in this game of real estate, so the listeners out there listening, and I love how you said testimonials, because it's people showing their appreciation towards you. And there are so many people who are kind of the flip-flop of that they're only chasing the money signs. And especially in real estate, if in coaching, in whatever it is, it's the relationships you develop, and it's those testimonials that are going to draw in more people. It's not all the crazy marketing and how can I get more money? I feel like that's super important to put your focus on, because I think you'll get more business from happy clients, happy customers, happy, home buyers, etc. So thank you for saying that. And that's probably why you are so good at what you do. All right. The second A in badass is for aspiration. I'm a big goal setter. So what is a goal you are currently working on?
So the goal that I am working on is getting my book published.
I just published a book. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I'm going to buy it.
Gosh.
The link. I want to send all of us the link. We want to go and support you. Yeah, no, it's literally, I've been working on it I worked on it for a year. I put it on pause because I had to direct my energy towards pivoting the business. I think everybody, I don't care what people say, like, even if you've done really well, you still had to pivot the business the last few years with everything that's gone on. So you have to be really creative and be sharp and be ready to like move at any point in time, because there's never like an end there. Like, everything's always constantly shifting. That's why you got to be ready for anything. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work. Congratulations. It's commitment for sure.
It was my word for the year, start. So I focused on it. It was my BHAG at the beginning of the year, my big, hairy, audacious goal. But what is your book about? What's it called? Do you have a title yet?
Yeah, I do. It's called Building the New, a year of living life on your terms. It's a 365. It's a 1 year. It's actually a playbook. So it's going to be a playbook on really all of my courses, in a way that you can read, like a sixth grader can read it. So I like to keep things really simple. I like to make complex things very simple for people, because life is overwhelming. So the last thing I want you to do if you're trying to grow and change, and I want you to feel like safe. So I want the book for the reader to feel like that we're having a one-on-one conversation, and that this is a safe space, and we got work to do at the same time. I'm not here to baby you. We got work to do. So it's a combination of like taking you through the beginning to the end, and letting it be a playbook, and then even the interpretation of like, you're the athlete, your career is your sport, and it's game time.
And this all ties in. Then the next thing will be the inner circle when you go through recruitment and getting your team of 20 together. I love all the marketing that you have going on here. You have some good people. That was good. All right. The first S in badass is for systems. What systems do you have in place to help you achieve success?
I didn't think it was a big deal. A lot of people were always telling me this, but this kind of came back to also changing my belief system and realizing like my beliefs were getting in the way. Is support and accountability is 99% of our true transformation. And I guess always being a coach, I just kind of, it's been a skill set. I mean, my first career was coaching, doing personal training. So for me, like the constant support and wanting to see people win and be successful. And so I didn't really have a lot of people in my circle until I allowed people into my circle to support me. But what I learned is that not just because people are willing doesn't mean that they're capable. So when you're seeking support and accountability, you need to find people that not only are willing, but they're capable of supporting you, because entrepreneurs are completely different hybrid. You're laughing because you know what I'm talking about.
What you're talking about. And others who aren't don't understand it at all and question your every move.
That's why I work. That's why my niche market is entrepreneurs that want to play at the pro level, because it's a completely different mentality. And you don't have to do it alone. And so that's why I wanted to create a community of people from all different careers that have the same drive of leadership and high achievement, so that's why I wanted to like kind of turn it into this theme, because I played 9 years of travel ice hockey. I wanted to go to the Olympics. Like I wanted to like consistently improve, but for women, there was no professional sports back then. It was just college, which I played college, and then Olympics, and Olympics you're still home living with mom. So I had to think career after I found that out. I'm not living at home with my parents, and then everything shifted anyway. But yeah. So,
by the way, when's the book coming out?
My goal is the July 2025. I just interviewed somebody to help with that, and got all the numbers down. And I want to have like live events myself. Everybody keeps asking me, and it's going to be like the Conscious Entrepreneur, where it's a sober event. And I found the picture of you. It said like day drinking. Oh, the hat you wore said day drinking. That's it. And your face is like this with the hat on, the green hat. And Chris is like, when he stole my sunglasses, I know this is like for people, whatever. But like he stole my sunglasses and he's like this, and I'm like this. And then here you are in the background, like the person in the back, like, and the hat's like day drinking. That's what it was. I was cracking up. So that was so funny. It was boat day for a tab.
That catamaran day. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. As in, catamaran day is when we watch Tanya do some salsa dancing on the boat. So that was some good times. All right. So you're going to have events without alcohol. Yeah. That's all I heard. And then it just went burp, 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 burp. After that. I didn't really understand what you're saying.
Sorry, we went through. I had to go do like memory lane for a second. No. Keep it in for the people. That will entertain
the people.
We like to keep it authentic over here. So I kind of see it as like a launch day. So people that buy the book, I want to have like a party to celebrate and a way to say thank you. Gratitude is really important for me. I feel like the best gift you could ever give somebody is to appreciate them and to value them. So for those that purchase the book and that want to be a part of the journey, I'm actually spoke to my team about this. I'm going to start a private group where you get to write the book with me. The book is practically done. We got 200 pages. But because I need support and also accountability, the accountability is just knowing that people are there waiting for something, and then that's all I need to know. So I'm going to start an open space where we're going to go month by month and we're going to go through the book together. So you're practically going to get like coaching for very low ticket. And then the big launch when the book is published, we're going to have like a 3-day event where it's almost like a sports camp. I don't know. Did you play sports growing up, Jen?
I was a basketball player. Power forward, baby.
Stop. Are you for real?
I could box out with the best of them. I was a very good defensive player. I wasn't a great offensive player, but yeah, I did AAU ball, everything, girl. Mm-hmm. Wow. I used what my mama gave me.
but that makes sense because if you talk to entrepreneurs, high end achieving entrepreneurs, they have athletic backgrounds. So I was like, it makes sense because I've done this asking when I speak on stage, and 90 something % of every single room have an athletic background. So I was like, you know what would be cool? So did you ever go to camp before? Do you ever go to sports camps?
Well, I'm not really camps, but.
Okay. Well, when you travel for sports camps, so I used to travel, I'd go to Canada, I'd go to New York, and I'd be away from home, and we'd be gone like for like weeks. And what we do is we moved as a unit. From the morning time, we had training, and then we'd have practice, and then we have lunch breaks, and then we'd have, so I'm going to turn it into that where it's like workshop, but it's like we're working out together. And if you don't know how to work out, we're going to have trainers. So it's, but not like jumping stuff, because like you can jump on your own. It's like actually really knowing how to strength train and how to take care of yourself in ways that you enjoy. So to give people an experience of to setting a standard. A lot of people have had experiences that have created an unhealthy relationship, and that's why it's not part of their DMOs or daily methods of operation. So I know having the background in that stuff and also knowing people that are experts in it. An expert doesn't mean that they're making you do really hard things. It just means like they know how to teach you with where you're at, how to work with where you're at and what you have. And so I want to take people through like a 7 a.m. all the way down to a 9 p.m. where we do like fire pits and forgiveness work to just like morning workouts. And yeah.
Make sure you do the meditation. I remember you did a guided meditation on the beach.
Oh,
so
of course.
Yes, that was awesome.
I'm going to be doing walking meditations in the morning. Yeah, it's going to literally be, I have the whole thing already built out. So yeah, so we're going to have the launch. And then as a thank you, we'll have it probably here in Miami, like a 3-day event, kind of like a book launch thing. But yeah, so I'm planning on July, but instead of having to wait for July, I'm going to start a community where people can just do like a month to month, and we read the book together, and I edit it, change it, so you feel like you're part of the process too. And then in celebration, that we celebrate together. You know, we work together, we celebrate together.
I am so proud of you. And I don't know if you even hear that enough, but it is so impressive to see what you do, to be kind of peripheral on the outside, kind of looking in on, and just you inspire so many. So I don't know if you ever hear that enough, but I am truly grateful to have you in my life and call you friend. So to wrap up this podcast, the final S in badass is for success. What does success mean to you?
I'm really big on looking up words. And one of the things I've done this year was a like contribution to society, going in inner circles and presenting on mostly procrastination, because that's been a hot topic. And success means, by definition, because I'm just going by the book, is achieving what you want. So I think having clarity is really important. So in order for me to actually complete these things, because I do believe that God plants dreams inside of each person. And when you have something that is like bothering you, like this book has been bothering me. Like that, you know, when you wrote your book, I'm sure it was like, it was an idea, and then it kept like kind of knocking, like, hey, I still want you to write me. Hey, I said, it's almost like it kind of takes over. So I feel like
it was definitely an obsession. Yes. For several months.
Yeah. So to be able to actually complete the things, the gifts, because they are gifts. The thing is, if we're not utilizing the gifts, they're taken from us. So to be able to complete the gifts, to complete those things, I like to say to birth them. I don't have children, but I feel like a lot of my courses and my programs are like my babies, and my projects, my passion projects. And so to actually complete the book, to do the event, even if it's just a one and done. Sometimes I do things it's a one and done, and I'm like, okay, it was an experience, and I don't want to do it anymore. But to complete the things that I do want to do for what I've lined out for at least the year, the book, the inner circle, those things, and just be a great human being. One of my things that I feel like I would be super successful, like people leaving and they're like, wow, I just want to be a little bit better because like she made me feel like I was capable. So my goal is just to build into people until they're capable of building into themselves.
Well, I appreciate you so much for taking this time to come back on the show. You always bring so many great, wonderful thoughts. And listeners, if you are looking for someone to make you a better person, not a business coach, but just to make you a better person, visit TanyaCOliver.com. It's TANYA Oliver, OLIVER.com. Check her out. You are amazing. Super, super proud of you and everything that you've done. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Proud of you too. And thank you so much for reconnecting. I'm glad we did this.
Absolutely. And that is all. Thank you for listening. We will catch you on the next episode. Now go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josie by visiting therealjenjosie.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.